Yeah, I'm sorry. No, that's not true. No, that's simply not true. Yeah, there's no difference between us. That's why he called up everyone and got them to drop out to stop Bernie. That's why they're all colluding behind the scenes throughout 2016 and 2020. No difference. Yeah, this is just not true. That's just not true. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little jelly beans because I've been trying to get this fucking interview.
Say here in Los Angeles around the homeless issue. I think morally, ethically speaking, it is an atrocity that in a country this wealthy we have people just on the streets.
Ooh! Uh-oh. Big Dog spoke out against Gav Gav? Ain't no fucking way. Oh, buddy. Thanks, Obama. Thanks, Obama. Oh, my God. Where's this energy? Where is this coming from? Wait a minute. The woke king hath spoken. The woke king has spoken.
Have a insist on policies that recognize their full humanity, people who are houseless, and be able to provide them the help and resources that they need.
Did you just say, does this guy still have motion? Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, yes. Among liberals? Obama is basically fucking God, dude. He's the last competent Democrat. He is literally the last competent Democrat. I'm not like glazing him when I say this. I have tremendous disagreements with him. Okay. My biggest one is the fact that he refuses to come on the broadcast, but will go on Brian Tyler Cohen.
Also recognize that the average person, doesn't want to have to navigate around a tent city in the middle of downtown.
He's right.
And that we're not going to be able to build a working majority and support for the resources that we need to help folks like that, whether it's drug treatment or temporary housing or what have you. We're not going to be able to generate support for it if we simply say, you know what, it's not their fault, and so they should be able to do whatever they want. Because
I get what he's trying to say. He's not entirely wrong on it. Like, there is this like weird liberal attitude around homelessness where it's like, just avoid them. Just like, don't look in their direction or some shit. Like, it's silly. It's dumb. There is definitely a weird attitude amongst like some on the like anarchist side too. It's not just like liberals, it's anarchists that also do this shit too. The problem is Obama's recovery from the housing market crash also led to a tremendous wave of homelessness. So something to consider there. What were you saying about anarchists? Fuck your anarchist slander. Come on, man. You're really going to tell me that there isn't a radical tendency here? Like, there's some of the kindest individuals that are directly working with these like mutual aid initiatives, but there's definitely like a prevailing attitude sometimes among radlibs especially where it's like, oh, like, what's the big problem? What's the big problem with like people living in the fucking street or whatever? Like there's this attitude that doesn't seek to, liberals do this more so than anarchists, obviously. You're such a liberal, stop praising Obama. The fuck wrong with you? Most competent Democrat, also the genocider of Yemen, stop praising him. Eat this ban. The reason why I'm banning you permanently is because you lack reading comprehension. I'm not saying that I like Obama, you fucking moron. I'm saying liberals see him as the most competent Democrat. And he is the most competent Democrat. It's true. I hate this. I can't deal with you. I seriously, I can't stand you motherfuckers. Why are you like this? Like your lack of critical thinking skills should not be everybody else's problem, and certainly not mine either. For a minute now, interview, debate, whatever you want to call it, right? Like, and I did not get it, and Brian Tyler Cohen got it instead. Join chorus.
head toward a next general election cycle, we're going to be contending with a lot of the same infighting that's plagued Democrats before. You'll often have leftists and progressives butting up against liberals and moderates. And look, you are the ultimate pragmatist. And so what advice do you have as we head toward this election cycle, this eventual 2028 election cycle, so that we don't devolve into the same, 2016 era Bernie Hillary redux that feels like it always consumes the left?
Well, look, first of all, I think it's important to remember that the divisions in the
What is this camera, bro? They had a freehand cam and everything?
Democratic Party tend to get magnified in the media. Relative to the divides that exist in most other countries.
Wait, oh shit, I'm sorry. I started off the conversation without thanking Obama. Thank you, Obama. Thank you, Barack Hussein Obama. Obama doesn't do contentious interviews. It's not. Guys, I'm the #1 Obama glazer. Come on, shut the fuck up. I love Obama, and I would love to hear his takes on what his favorite songs are. I just basically would just ask him over and over again, like, what's your Spotify playlist for the next month? What's your Spotify playlist for the month prior? What's your Netflix playlist look like? This is what the conversation would be around, okay? It would be around that. Also, there are areas of agreement, okay? You interviewed that Yemeni kid just to try to interview the guy who genocided his country. That's beyond the pale. Shh. Stop. Stop it. But you don't know music? I'm being serious. That's morally depraved. Don't interview Obama. If you do, ask him. God, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut up. This is what I mean. This is what I'm talking about. You guys are so fucking stupid, okay? You're literally doing don't platform Obama right now. You are like, look, you need to dial back your autism, okay? Because I can't read this as anything but like neurodivergence, because there's no shot that you are a real human being, okay? No, he wasn't kidding. I thought he was joking at first, and then it turns out he's not joking. He's like, no, that's fucking depraved. I thought that was a joke. At first. It turns out it's not a fucking joke. That person wasn't joking. He's like being sincere. Like, you guys just... What? Autistic people aren't real human beings? Okay, take a day off. You kind of made chat this way. They don't know when to dial it back. No, I didn't. For the last fucking 8 years of my time on this platform, every day I have actually pushed back against these forces. And in any case, I've actually seen a lot of success in like dialing people to fuck back. But there are still people who just can't stop themselves. Like they just have to type it out and have to hit enter. That's what it is. Yeah, I didn't make chat this way. Tylenol did. What is the #1 principle in this community? Be fucking normal. That's what I say all the time. I used to say it all the time. There's like even in the Discord, be kind to people, be ruthless to systems, be charitable to people until you realize that they are not, they're taking advantage of your charity. It's not even a shitpost. That person unironically is like, why are you platforming Obama? Like, he's a psycho. And then I rant, and then dumbasses will clip it and they'll post it on fucking they'll post it on Twitter. Be normal.
Where you have a parliamentary system, you have multiple parties, and you got Green Party, and you got the center left party, and you've got a socialist party, and sometimes you got a communist party.
Yeah.
Our differences get exaggerated. listen, Bernie Sanders believes, just like Nancy Pelosi believes, just like Chuck Schumer believes, just like Hakeem Jeffries believes, just like AOC believes, in equality and non-discrimination against people because of race or gender or sexual orientation. Well, all Democrats believe in that. That's a core value. Democrats believe that government should provide a strong safety net for people when they're down on their luck. Everybody I just mentioned believes in that. Everybody believes that there should be some regulation of the market so that you don't have monopolies and oligopolies that are simply dictating the terms of the economy, and that we should have a tax system that levels out some of the inequalities that result. So I think it's important for us to remind ourselves as a starting point, what do we have in common? Most of the time, the differences are tactical. Right? It has to do with, well, how much of a tax hike can people put up with? How much regulation should we be thinking about when it comes to...
Listen, he's said this before, okay? We're all on the same team. All the Democrats are on the same team. It's just that some of them are, some of them have more appetite and others don't, blah, 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 all this stuff. This is just like, it's not, no.
Climate change. And if we recognize that typically the arguments in the Democratic Party aren't about core values, but are really around tactics and how do you get stuff done.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, that's not true. No, that's simply not true. Yeah, there's no difference between us. That's why he called up everyone and got them to drop out to stop Bernie. That's why they're all colluding behind the scenes throughout 2016 and 2020. No difference. Yeah, this is just not true. That's just not true. It's getting hard for me to criticize Barack Obama. I mean, or rather, not criticize Barack Obama because I want to do an interview with Barack Obama, which will, of course, be non-contentious, guys.
Now we can have a robust debate, and I want a robust debate.
Yeah.
And what we can also do is not try to nationalize every issue all the time. This last off-year election, I think, was a great example. You know, you've got a candidate like Spanberger in Virginia, who runs what would be considered a more centrist campaign and runs a terrific campaign. And then you've got Mondami in New York, who runs a explicitly socialist grassroots campaign and excites and mobilizes folks. And that can win in New York City. It probably could not win in Virginia. And that's okay. That's healthy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think we get into arguments. A recent one, this idea that the quote unquote abundance agenda is somehow a sellout, and folks on the left getting exercised because, oh, this is part of this sort of corporate Democrats trying to take over the party. Well, no, not really. What I think it is entirely legitimate to say, for example, we need to build more affordable housing, which is going to require higher taxes on people like me and people who are well off in order to subsidize the construction of affordable housing, let's say in a place like California, and also be able to say, you know what, there are a bunch of well-intentioned rules and zoning laws and so forth that baby boomers like me and existing homeowners.
He gets paid by Netflix. I don't trust Obama. I love the idea that Obama getting paid by Netflix implies where his like ideological worldview is, more so than I don't know, the 8 years of him being the fucking American president. Okay? The difference is Obama never endorsed Zoran and he campaigned extensively with Spanberger. Wonder why that is. Okay, Michael from Pennsylvania. Shh. Stop. I'm trying to secure an interview with Barry Hussein Obama. Feels like you're coming after a Muslim man, a Muslim communist, as a matter of fact, a little too aggressively. Okay, let's dial it back, please.
Have used.
We're just here to listen. We're not here to criticize. He's the former president now. He's the former president. We're not here to criticize.
To block the construction of affordable housing, even in democratic cities. And so if we want to actually deliver housing rather than have some abstract argument, then we got to figure out not an either or of do we spend more money or do we reform some of these things that are preventing the construction of affordable housing. We have to do both. And I want us to have those arguments. And one last thing I think that's I've noticed in a lot of our internal arguments, a lot of which, by the way, are taking place online, and ordinary voters, this is all completely off their radar screen. One of the things I think it's important for Democrats, for us also to recognize, progressives to recognize, folks on the left.
Please counteract these abundance talking points. Yeah, I mean, he's doing abundance because abundance is obviously exactly what his vision is for the party. Like the very fact that he says there's no difference between like the very fact that he claims there's like no fundamental difference, like we're all on the same fucking playing field between socialists and like liberals is not correct. Like that's just not true at all. And the reason why he's like heavily on the abundance side is because abundance is supposed to be like the new version of third way neoliberalism, just like repackaged.
To recognize it's possible for us to have a moral sense of what is right and true and what needs to be done, and also recognize that we are in a particular time and place here in America, and voters are not going to agree with us 100% on everything. And so it is not a sellout, it's not a betrayal to say that we're going to shape our agenda and our message in a way that allows us to build a working majority to get stuff done. And I think particularly around social issues, sometimes we get confused around this. You witness what happened in Minneapolis, and you say to yourself, morally speaking, that 5-year-old child who's standing in front of that SUV as his father's being dragged off, that child is equal to mine or any child. His immigration status, his nationality, does not change the love and decency that we should be showing that child. But what is also true is that we're a nation of laws, we have borders, and we've got to figure out an immigration policy that is orderly and that is fair and is enforced in a sensible way that is compatible with our values, but may not fully capture the degree to which that kid should have the same chances in life as a U.S. citizen kid. But you know, we've got to accommodate the reality that the majority of the American people think that there's a difference between somebody who's a U.S. citizen and somebody who's not, and that they want an orderly immigration system. And sometimes I think what happens in the online debate is if somebody suggests, well, we have to have some immigration enforcement, then somebody's going to point at that child and say, well, so you don't care about that kid.
Yeah.
So you must be a bad person. The same would be true, let's say, here in Los Angeles around the homeless issue. I think morally, ethically speaking, it is an atrocity that in a country this wealthy, we have people just on the streets. And we should have we should insist on policies that recognize their full humanity, people who are houseless, and be able to
Really pushing back there, Brian. Wait, John Fetterman eviscerates anti-Israel rot in the Democratic Party, shuts down AOC's genocide rhetoric.